Hey everyone, my name is Sophie and I'm a first year student at the Peabody Institute of Johns Hopkins University. Today I'm going to be talking about the college app process, but more specifically, I'm going to be talking about things I wish I knew before I went through this process. Please stay tuned to the end of the video, I promise you will not regret it. So the way this video is going to work is I'm going to split everything into two basic sections. One, the things I learned, and two, steps to take. My biggest hope for you after this video is that you will know that college does not define you. College does not equal your self-worth. And I know you've probably heard this a million times, but I hope that you'll truly understand this and take this to heart after this video. So let's start off with the things I learned. I'm going to group this into two categories. One, the basics, and two, the mindset. Now let's start with the basics. First of all, college is only 4 years of your life. It is so hard to keep this in mind when you're applying, and it seems like college is the defining factor of whether or not you're going to have a successful future or a successful life. But I promise you, college is only 4 years of that, unless you decide to pursue higher education, but that's a different story. And number two, once you get there, literally no one cares where you've been accepted or where you've been rejected from. All they see is the version of you that you present yourself there. They don't see whether or not you've been accepted to Harvard or rejected from, say, a lower ranked state school. That is not what they see. They only see how you present yourself there. And number three, admissions officers are there to help. This is also really hard for people to understand, especially myself as a high school senior. I always thought that they were kind of out to get you and they were there to pick on the mistakes that you've made but once you get to college, you realize that the admissions officers are really nice people and they are genuinely trying to focus on the best parts of you. They're not looking at the one time you forgot a comma in your essay, or how come she didn't, why wasn't she president of this club? They don't even think about that. They're here and they look at what you have to offer and they are focusing on the best parts of you. So keep that in mind. Don't be scared of them. And also, don't be afraid to reach out to them to ask for help. That also gets them to know you better before they, review your application. And the last thing that is a basic, you can transfer. Yes, it's rare, and no, you don't want to think about transferring when you're applying to college, but keep that in mind. If you don't like the school you end up at, you can always transfer. And 90% of the transfers I know, they all say that they don't regret their time spent at the other college at all. Because no matter what, good things are everywhere. It's just about whether you decide to focus on those or, say, the negative aspects. Now for section 2 of the first part, the mindset. Repeat after me. College does not equal self-worth. College does not equal self-worth. This is so hard to remember, but think about it. They're literally looking at you as much as you can put of you onto a piece of paper. You are basically some numbers and some words that you wrote that were heavily edited throughout the process. And how can those even remotely accurately describe you as a person or accurately represent you as a person? They can't. The truth is, they don't represent you as a person. So why should an acceptance or a rejection define you? Why should that determine what is worthy of you or what is not worthy of you? So that is something we have to remember. College does not equal self-worth. And number two, the comparisons have to stop. Everyone, I just remember my senior year of high school, right? When there was early decision coming out, and I barely even knew where I was applying yet. And I felt so behind seeing everyone post oh my gosh, I got into Harvard, I got into Yale, say all these, which is great for them. I'm so happy for them. But it made me feel so behind and so inferior compared to them. But that's just not the truth. The comparisons need to stop. Everyone takes a different path in life. There's no better or worse path. They're just different. And finally, college is what you make of it. Where you go doesn't actually matter. It's what you make of the opportunities that are given to you. Opportunity is everywhere, from, let's say objectively the lowest ranking school to the highest ranking school. There's opportunities everywhere, and it's completely up to you to decide what you're going to do with those opportunities that you are given or that you have worked hard for. Now, finally, for the final part of the video, steps to take. I've narrowed it down to 3 parts. Number 1, do not watch college reaction videos. Don't do it. At least not until you have made your decision with your college and you're content with your decision. Because I fell into the trap of watching these college reaction videos well before I was applying. And a lot of them are very inspirational. It's great to see someone so happy with their decision, with their hard work, but it puts this idea into your head that if you get in, then you're going to be famous. But if you don't get in, then you're dumb. It's very much if you're successful, then if you get in, basically, you are better than the people that didn't get in, if that makes any sense. So do not watch these videos, not until you are content with your decision. And this brings me to my next point. Celebrate the successes, but don't let the rejections consume you. The same way that you shouldn't let your successes consume you either. Just because if you got accepted, fantastic. If you got rejected, it's not the end of the world, and you will see that in due time, you end up right where you're meant to be. I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, but especially when things seem to be not working out, it happened, and you're going to understand why later. You're going to be so happy at the college you end up at. You're going to meet the greatest people, you're going to have the greatest classes, and you're going to end up where you are meant to be. And now for the final step. Do your best. Do your absolute best. Don't be afraid to put everything you've got, all of your efforts into this. Don't be afraid to do everything you can out of the fear of rejection. Because I know that when you get, say, an 80 after you've half studied, it's not gonna hurt as bad as when you studied all night, you did everything you could, and you still got that 80. Because it's gonna feel like you tried so hard, you did everything you could, but it still wasn't enough. But the one thing worse than rejection is regret. The thought that I could have done better. If I had just started my essay a little bit earlier, if I just joined this one extra club, then maybe I would have gotten in. Nothing feels worse than that. Do your best until you're sure there is nothing else you can do. This time, it's different. You worked your hardest. You're doing your best. You're putting everything into it. Be proud, because you've worked your whole life for this. Once you've done your absolute best, it's time to let go. Let go and await your incredibly bright future. Because so many things in this process are just out of our control. A lot of it's luck. A lot of it's just, frankly, randomness. Let's do the one thing that we can do. Let's do our best. I encourage you to embrace this process. No matter what happens, you'll come out of this a much different, a much more mature person. You'll have learned and grown, and perhaps more than the other 3 years of your life in high school. I can't wait to see what all of you guys will do, and I'm super proud of you already. So continue doing your best, put everything into it, and let me know in the comments what happens. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and all my best wishes to you.